Hello, my name is Diego Echavarriam. I'm a solicitor here in Marbella since 2001. I was brought up in Madrid and came here in 2001. Then I studied in different universities in Madrid and in Germany. And then I have my own practice since 2006.
Brilliant. And so when did you come to Marbella?
2001.
2001. And what made you come to Marbella?
Well, this is a good place to have international clients from all over the place. My background was more or less that direction, so I decided to come here and try.
Brilliant. And so, given that you can have an international client base then, where would you say most of your clients are from?
99% of the clients are English, or 95 or whatever, but mostly from England. The rest are from Sweden or Russia or international background, not Spanish clients.
Really? No. And why do you think so many British people?
Well, the Brits are the main population here in Marbella and the coast. They've been here for all the time, for the last 30 years, 40 years, and it's going to be like that, even with the Brexit.
Could you give me a brief explanation of what the floor clause is and sort of why it's become such a big problem?
Right, well, the floor clause is a clause that was inserted or was included in the mortgages between 2001 and 2010. And this clause means, that all the mortgage payments or the interest could never go down below 3 or 4%, depending on the clause. So this means, that you will never end up paying the right amount. So you will always be paying more you're supposed to. If you multiply this for years and years and years, it can be quite a large sum of money. And that's why, all the mortgages, between 2001, 2010, 11, 90% they have this clause. What happens is that most of the Brits, the foreign people, are not aware of it. So they don't know that they are overpaying. They might be now getting interest, but they never were informed about it. Mm-hmm. Even if they bought a property with a lawyer, this clause was inserted in the mortgages. So now, for example, we have 0% interest, or very close to zero, and still people are paying 3 or 4%, which in a mortgage of 100,000 euros, it means 200 or 300 euros per month. If you multiply this since 2011, it could be 20,000, 15,000, depending on the amount of the mortgage.
Do you have an estimate of how many had this clause at the time?
Most of it, 90%, depending on the banks and everything. Most of the banks would include that clause in the past.
How much money were people being conned out of?
It depends on the amount of the mortgage, how much money the client borrow, and it depends, how many years are left of the mortgage. Mm-hmm. But the average for my clients is around 20,000 euros claim. And we do a no-win, no-fee, which means the client doesn't have to put any money in front in the banks.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of time to get all the paperwork and do the claim, and then go to court and win the case against the bank.
And how many victories have you had for the floor cases?
So far, all the cases. It means around 49 cases. Okay. But we have another 110 cases in court waiting. So that's the thing, because the main issue is the length of the cases. It takes a long time because the courts have collapsed, and it takes a long time till you have a positive ruling.
Who were the worst offenders?
The worst banks?
Yeah.
The worst banks in this area were Unicaja. I don't want to do bad publicity here, I'm just talking about the facts I'm having. So most of the claims we're doing is against Unicaja, Banco Sabadell, Banco Popular, Banco Santander, and the savings, the old saving banks, that they are not existing anymore. Caja España, Caja Duero, Caja Sol, all those savings banks that they don't exist anymore. those are the most the sold the unsold mortgages.
And are there any cases per se that you're allowed to discuss, that you can say, you know, of a particular client that you're allowed to talk about, or you know, a case that you can name that you've won that has been, you know, quite a big win at all?
Well, we have a good case in Almeria, you know, which, you know, the client was able to recover 50,000 euros. So it was a lot of money. This was against Caja Granada, and it took, you know, 1.5 years, and then, you know, the client was able to recover 50,000 euros, and all the future payments of the mortgage will come down to the right figure. So it makes you're gonna start paying the right amount from day one, since the court case is is positive in court.
And how many people do you think still are owed money that haven't gone to court?
Lots, thousands, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, because the main issue is that even if you sold your property in the last 4 or 5 years, you can still claim. So it means, you know, a lot of people who sold their properties in the last 5 years, they didn't have a clue that they were overpaying the mortgage, and they are still entitled to claim.
And what would be your advice to anyone that's unsure whether maybe they're entitled to claim?
Well, that's, you know, just contact us, you know, and send us an email, a copy of your last mortgage payment, and with that, you know, we can tell if it has a clause and all that, you know. And it takes, you know, 1 minute of our time, 2 minutes to check, you know, if the mortgage has a legal clause, or this floor clause.
Obviously, the floor clause makes a lot up of what you do at Fairway Lawyers.
Yeah.
What other aspects do you work in?
Apart from the mortgages, yeah, we do a lot of real estate now, the real estate transaction, sales, purchase, and we do immigration law as well now. A lot of with the Brexit now, residency, you know, residence cards. All the Brits, you know, have been stuck now, have no.
There's a lot of Brits here at the moment who are struggling to get the residency or didn't apply in time.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, didn't think that Brexit was going to happen. It was going to be so. It was going to happen, and it did. And now, well, a lot of people had even applied on time before Christmas, last Christmas, and now it's more and more difficult. It's quite difficult now because you need to provide a lot of paperwork and more documents, and it's more complicated.
And it's my understanding, unless you had applied before the cut-off, you can't get a residency here anymore. Everything would have to be on visas.
No, you can still. There's always ways around, but you need to prove that you were here before Christmas. You need to prove that you've been living here before, with electricity bill, water bills, McDonald's bills. There's a lot of things to prove. Even though, you know, we have cases where the administration has turned down the application. So it's getting more difficult, but case by case, I think you can become resident. But don't leave it too far, because, you know, every month is more difficult.
And have you got anything else about sort of Fairway Lawyers that you'd like to add to?
I would like to add in as well about inheritance. Okay, a lot of people are, you know, with the COVID, you know, died or didn't come back here, died in England or here, and have no wills. That is a big mess, you know. If you don't have a Spanish will, and, you know, it makes things more difficult.
And so is that something you can help with them with again?
Yeah, with inheritance. There's a lot of people who don't, you know, they didn't do the will here in Spain, and that's causing a big problem now. Because in England it's different law, and it makes more complicated from the legal point of view.
And so how can you help people with that then? How is it different over here compared to the UK? Looking at
here you need to have a Spanish will for your assets in Spain. If not, we have to use the English will, but the English will have to be approved by a court in England, which is called probate, and it's more complicated. It took us, you know, 1 year to get a probate seal from England, because with the COVID, all the offices in England were mostly closed, and So that's why I really recommend to have a Spanish wheel here.
Where do you see yourself sort of in 5-10 years time? What is sort of the dream?
I would like to have more free time.
Everyone's got you busy working at the moment.
Yeah, I'm too busy now. I would like to have more free time.
To spend with the family.
Spend in the fairway, in the golf course.
The golf course.
Golf course in the family, yeah. Both of them.
Where's your favourite golf course around here to play?
Here's Wilhelmina.
Oh, nice. Do you play often? Or not as often as
Not
you
often
like?
as I wish. Once a week, more or less. Not enough.